like not even really sure about crying. I think there's just so much fun watching this and remembering all the feelings. I'm happy, and there's still like just a bittersweet part of I wish the story hadn't gone the way that it did. Hi, I'm Danielle Romero, and thank you so much for being with me here on my channel, where I have been delving into American history, American identity, how do we become American? And today I'm going to do something a little unique. I have been doing YouTube for a year at this point. I can't believe it. I never thought I would be doing it for a day. And when I started with a docu-series about my family, researching my family history. My great-grandmother passed for white from Louisiana, and I was trying to find our family, understand the story, understand the history. And so I want to go back to some of those episodes, and I want to react to them. So I'm going to react to the 4th episode. This is the last episode of the series. I go down to Louisiana, and so I want to just talk a little bit about what that was like, and I'll stop it and give some more information. Because at the time I didn't put all of the information out there. So it's my ancestry journey over. I came down here and I was hoping that coming down here would be like the end of the journey. Like this would be like bringing the closure, but I think it's actually like the beginning of the journey. My husband wrote this song.
Did she ever talk about Louisiana to you?
No, she never did, and we never saw any people that lived, even though she did write to people, maybe a letter.
Oh, that's my grandmother, and she's talking about her mother, Lola. And this was actually like a little recording my mom did for me before my grandmother passed away. I was like, we gotta ask Grammy some questions. And so my mom just had the phone like right in her face, and she sent them to me, and I had no plan of what to do with them. I needed it saved. I'm just so thankful that my mom did that for me.
For a year, she would get a brother or her sister. I think the one brother was Alfred, or Albert. She grew up in Bastrop, Louisiana.
So right here is Lola and her brother. And I was able, because of Facebook, to connect with these cousins. And I got in touch with them, and they invited us to their house in Bastrop, Louisiana. And my husband's amazing. He's like, yes, we can go. And he brought all this equipment so we could record them and talk to them. And it was incredible. It was incredible to see these people. And weirdly, this is like a weird thing, but you see his mouth? You see how his mouth is like a little bit crooked? My grandmother has that. So this is my grandmother's uncle. My mom has that, and I have it, and one of my kids has it. And it used to really bother me. I used to feel really embarrassed about it. And once I saw that it's like, this is something that runs in this family, I feel so proud of it. It just totally changed my perspective. But anyway.
All I had to see this through, but I won't be coming back to you.
My name is Joseph Blaze Peral, Sr., and I was born in Bastrop, Louisiana.
What's your father's name?
Albert Benjamin Peral. The thing that comes to my mind is smoking that pipe, and always with that pipe in his mouth. And games, he played to win. He was competitive. He played to win.
He looked like.
Well, he looks a lot like me. Yeah, he was a little on the dark complected side, and had high cheekbones, and his heritage was probably, because the name was some French and probably some Indian, because it looked like he had Indian.
Did he ever mention his sister Lola?
Yeah.
And this, the person who's speaking, I'm just so thankful. So her name's Paige Peral, and she is Joe's granddaughter. And so I guess we're, second cousins. And she was going down there to visit. And I asked if she would ask him some questions, and she did. And just like, this was like a community effort. This whole telling these stories, we cannot do it on our own. We need each other to do this. And preserve our family history. So thank you, Paige.
Yes, yeah, just she had moved away.
Hear her talk about her sister Lola, but she wasn't talking to me about it. She was talking to her sister Zola about their sister, you know. And when she'd go to Uncle Albert's house, they would talk about their sister. I think Aunt Lola would write to my grandmother. Now, my grandmother never learned how to read, so I would hear my aunt.
So this is Audrey, and Audrey, just like I'm just like so emotional seeing these family members who I got. I'm just amazing. But Audrey was raised by Lola's sister Azalea, and so she was, you know, the family that stayed behind in Louisiana, and she told me so much.
Reading letters to her, but yeah, she did speak of her and wish she could see her.
Grandma White never wanted to go back. She wanted to,
So this is my Aunt
move on,
Nancy.
and
It's
she
my
went
mom's
completely
sister.
east from Louisiana, and I think just never looked back.
I think they were disconnected for so many years. Once Lola left Louisiana, she didn't drive, so it wasn't like
This
if
is my
she ever
mom's
got a
cousin.
car, let's go to Louisiana. She had 8 kids. She couldn't go too much further than go out and work. Try to feed the kids.
Like, did you guys talk about your ethnicity, your ancestors, your background? Like, what was your experience with that? Was that a conversation ever came up, or
It never came up. They spoke French, but the French that I thought they were speaking.
So this is a census record that I found. So when my great grandmother moved to New York, she changed her name to Louise, and she had married an Irishman, my great grandfather. So her last name was Donnelly.
Was the French that I took in high school. Totally different. Totally different. They spoke the Cajun French. They said their prayers in French. Very Catholic, in the household.
And on this census in particular, they had asked people if they had people who were not born, I think in New York had to do this, if they had a language that was other than English that was spoken at home as a child. So you could see here the man underneath, his father was born in Russia, but he learned English at home. But for Lola, she said her mother and father were born in Louisiana, and the language spoken at home in earliest childhood was French. So her first language wasn't English. And to me, again, this just blows my mind because, my dad's side of the family, immigrants, right? And their first language is an Italian dialect. But Lola was born in Louisiana. She was born in the United States in 1900s, and her first language was not English. And actually, Audrey will go on to kind of talk about it. It sounds like her first language is probably Creole, as Audrey saying it. It wasn't the French she learned in high school. Again, all that lost. Like, I never heard it. I didn't know anything about it. And it was almost gone.
When they didn't want the kids to know anything about what they were saying, they spoke in French. I would listen to them if they talked about family and things, but I never really knew until I got older and started researching myself,
so how did you
I
start
wanted
that?
to know more about who I was. Where did I come from? Who are these people? And I always heard, we're French and Indian. That's it.
No, he never mentioned anything about his heritage. I still don't know what we did the ancestry.com DNA, but it didn't reveal anything that was of any interest to me.
I think I started this journey kind of from.
Do you like the background? That's my living room. We brought like every plant behind me. It's like the first time we had set up a camera.
Until like 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to build this family tree and learning all these names and these locations, and everything was just new because we didn't know anything about this side of our family. But as I've started this journey and started like talking to people and talking to.
So this was amazing. So this was after the interview with Audrey. It was just so special to be there. There's something so incredible about like holding someone's hand and being like, this is your family that was lost. And they know your story. They know so much more about your story than you even know. There's so much more to know. So if you're on a journey like this, for whatever reason their family is separated, I just want to encourage you to find your family and reach out to them.
My daughter and I decided we were going to do Ancestry.com. And I did it one time and I couldn't stop at night. And all of a sudden it was 4 o'clock in the morning and I was still going, oh, here, we got to find this, my cousin Chris. And Chris had been doing it too. I mean, we just all went
Always.
crazy. And I really had to stop because I was obsessed.
So if you've watched the series, so Chris and Audrey are close. They live in Monroe, Louisiana, and Chris is another cousin on that side, and he is the family historian, and he's got a really interesting side. I would love to talk more about it still. I keep meaning to do a video with him, just him, but so his family's Creole as well, but they're also Chinese from Louisiana, which is just, Louisiana is like, you can have anything happening down there. There are no rules.
Talked to him about it, accepted who we were, let it go at that. It was nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah.
He accepted who he was, and he was happy in that skin. Just accept who you are and be content in that. You can't change it, so accept it and be content in that.
Like, some part of me wants to hold on really tight to this because we almost didn't know anything about it. But I don't really know what that means. I guess that's okay to not know. And that's kind of up to each person to decide what they do with it, right?
I wish that if I could go back and talk to her, I would say be proud of who you are. As, this is a different generation. We would say be proud of who you are.
I think there's something different in making it and then sitting down and watching it like this. Not even really sure I'm crying. I think there's just so much fun watching this and remembering all the feelings of this, and I think there's a lot of, I'm happy, and there's still just a bittersweet part of, I wish the story hadn't gone the way that it did, but it had to go that way, otherwise I wouldn't be here, and life's funny like that, right?
Never be ashamed of who you are. Back in those days, you're talking the 1940s and 30s and 20s, and there was a lot of racism. They learned to survive.
This picture, okay, I'm now I'm a mess. So I'm gonna tell you about this picture. This picture is amazing to me. So Lola's here in the middle. Okay, this is my mom up here in the top corner. She looks so much like one of my daughters. There's something about this that I just see. Lola went through so much, and she had to make so many decisions. And yeah, there's still a legacy there. Maybe we can look at it and say, I would have made this decision. She should have done this. She should have done that. But at the end of the day, there's this family that's still going, and here I am. And I don't know. I want to give everybody a hug right now.
Collapsed and given up on life. But they were all survivors, every single one of them. And they never let life take them into a dark place. They always found a way to make it through and to succeed. And they always laughed about it too.
Isn't she so beautiful? So that's what my natural hair looks like. I had that haircut once. It did not look as cute. I was dating my husband, and I had been relaxing my hair, and I decided to do a big chop because it had been relaxed, and I wanted to just go back to natural. And so there was a lot had to get cut off. And so when it got cut, it was when it was wet, it looked longer than it was, but because it's so curly and coarse, when it dried, it was like this. So it was like a little ball. I did not look this cute though.
Other stuff changes, but the water's just here. It's just been here. It's just the same water. Maybe it's the same trees. I don't know. I don't know how old that tree is. Maybe it's the same tree. I think the weird thing is that I thought I cared more about being here and be I'm touching the land, I'm touching everything. And I didn't know that there was family here that we could still be connected to. And I think finding family that I actually care about and that we have this shared experience is actually more important to me. I didn't even think it was there, but now I'm realizing that's the really important part, is there's other people who understand your history because it's their history. And that's the part I really want to keep.
Everybody you meet that is related to you, that's an enrichment,
In my mind, I don't
My mom's
see
uncle.
being white passing as the goal. I think being white passing was the vehicle to get her to the life that she wanted, not as a white person, but as a human being. who was ready to move on from something had become impossible to live with. So I would consider my grandmother, Marion, to be somebody who doesn't give up, has always continued on to figure it out, to make something of herself, be where she wants to be, and live life on terms that she sees fit to live. And there's a boldness to that that clearly she got from her own
This is
mother,
my
but
cousin
it's there
Alicia.
and it's in me.
My eyes have to adjust. Is it on? I came down here and I was hoping that coming down here would be like the end of the journey. Like this would be like bringing the closure. But I think it's actually like the beginning of the journey. Like Lola left from here and she like blazed her own trail and like did her own thing. And not everybody was in agreement with what it was, but that's okay. And I don't know. So that's what I was just thinking. Maybe this is like coming here is not like I come here and now it's all tied up neatly.
I'm so awkward.
It's like I come here and now things make more sense. Now I can move forward in a direction like I want to move forward in, like whatever that looks like. But I think that I'm on the right path. Oh my gosh. Okay, I feel really, I can't believe how, like, all the emotions. I think it was good to watch because, again, I put that out like a year ago and, you know, haven't seen it since. And just remembering, like, why did I start this? Why am I telling these stories? Why am I saving this history? And this is why. It's because history is not what some people call, like, you know, you're kicking a dead horse, get over it. History is permeates everything. It's permeating now. It's the reason that I'm here now. It's because of that history, and understanding that history matters and preserving that history matters. That's a gift that we must choose to give to the next generation. So thank you so much for being with me here on this channel and just exploring the absolutely beautiful, bittersweet connections that we all have together. I'll see you soon.